Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the United Rugby Championship. This one is South African derby, the Lions taking on the Stormers. And it should be a very nice prelim, I guess you could say, for the international rugby coming up just a little bit later on tonight between Australia and Scotland. Of course, the URC sides, they have been closer than ever this year than what we saw. I guess closer than ever is a bit of a interesting statement, seeing as the competition's only been going for 2 years, but this is the way that the table is sitting now. Behind that board that you can see, or the Halloween little emoji that we've got there, Leinster sitting on 33 points, so they are quite far ahead of anyone else, but they have played those extra games, which has allowed them to create quite a lead. The Bulls sitting in third at the moment. The Stormers in fourth, only having themselves the one loss last week and the draw the week prior to that, and then also the opposition here, the Lions, if they get themselves a win, they could actually find themselves sitting in about fourth or fifth, depending on how much they are able to win it by. But it looks like a beautiful afternoon at the stadium. We will look through at the starting lineups and reserves for these two sides, starting with the Lions. It will be JP Smith in the front row alongside PJ Botha and Raya. Then in the locks, it will be Alberts and Nathaniel. Emmanuel Teshuka is going to be at number 6. He is a player to watch out for throughout this fixture. Ruan Fenta at 7 and Frankie Horn slotting in at number 8. Then the back line, it will be Nohamba at number 9. I almost called him Jordan Hendricks a bit. Well, it is Jordan Hendricks. I almost called him Jaden, I think, was what I was trying to say. But Jordan Hendricks at fly half, Marius Lowe and Van Veek will be the midfield. Out on one wing, Horn, Edward van der Merwe out on the other, and then it will be Kutsia slotting in as the fullback. Then looking through at the other side in this contest, it will be the challengers, the Stormers. Now it will be Brock Harris in the front row alongside Joseph Dweber, who for me really needs a big game here because he's probably one bad performance away from losing his starting lineup for the Stormers throughout the URC season. Johan Neeling Fouché does slot in as number 3. Then it will be Ernest van Reenen in the starting lineup. He did come off the bench in the last contest for the Stormers. Marvin Ori at number 5. Then it is Junior Pokamela, Diamani at number 7, and then Evan Ruas, the man who has recently made his way into the Springboks. Speaking of recent injections into the Springboks side, Paul de Vet at number 9, but the Springbok now, Mani Labok, there at number 10. He will be hoping to put on a big performance here heading into a little bit of a Springbok season for himself. We don't know how much game time he's going to be getting, but he's at least in the lineup, which is a great start for Mani Labok. Then it is going to be Lillian Zas out on the left wing for this match. Mugome Zulu in the midfield alongside Dan Duplessis. Angelo David's out on the other wing, the Sevens representative for the Springboks and the Blitzboks. Sorry, I meant just the Blitzboks. And Clayton Blommakis slotting in at number 15. But I'm very excited for this game. Anytime there's a South African derby, we know that all of the sides are going to be showing up, and they're certainly going to be trying their absolute best to put on a clinical performance. A lot of points on the line. 22 degrees Celsius at the moment at the ground. Does seem like it is going to be a brilliant day for a game of rugby. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think will be able to get themselves the win? Will it be the Emirates Lions who are able to cause the upset and get themselves the home victory, or could it be the Stormers coming off a loss, looking to get back on the winning track, and now would be the perfect time to be able to do it while facing off against another South African great side? But I'm excited. I think first try of the match is either going to be Van Veek, number 13 for the Lions, or I am going to say Sasha Ngome Zulu as the inside centre for the Stormers. Both men doing very nicely for themselves as of late. Ngome Zulu, of course, making his way into the Springboks. That name's still one that's trying to roll off the tongue. It doesn't quite get there yet, but it will be by the time we see the Springboks in action. Andre has said the Lions by 10, so confidence in there for the Lions to be able to go on and get themselves a nice big win here. And it would definitely, I guess it wouldn't really be surprising. The reason I say that is because the Lions this year have been a lot better in the URC than they were for the last year. It seems like they needed a little bit more time to find their momentum, get it under their belt. And now that they've got it, seems like it is going to be something that they aren't really willing to give up too easily. And also we have the Halloween. Let's go, the Kiwi Lads. There's a Nate. Yeah, we have got the Halloween emoji. It was designed by Sebastian, so a big thank you for him. But looks very nice up in the top corner. It's got the bat and the pumpkin. Halloween just around the corner. We will be dressing up for the 31st of October on the channel. And I've actually just realized that that is tomorrow night. That is not when I thought it was. I thought it was actually the day after, but that would be the 1st. So I actually have to dress up tomorrow night. I'll have to change my costume that I'm going to be wearing to a Halloween party and then switch it back to a different one. But we will be able to get it all done. We have got the live stream tomorrow night. There's a bit of an overlap, so I'm not too sure what I'm going to do there yet. I was hoping to get a special guest commentator in to be able to do the last 20 minutes or so of the URC, but now the Lions making their way out onto the field. Now, this game was scheduled to be a 3 a.m. kickoff New Zealand time. It seems like it may be just a little bit later, but that is all right. We've still got plenty of time. Cheers, Sebastian, with the emoji once again from Nate there. But it's an absolutely beautiful afternoon. Like I mentioned, 22 degrees Celsius. Both of these sides will want to play that free-flowing rugby that they've got. I think the Lions might win this one, says Gareth. So I hope you are doing well, Gareth. For yourself, I'm just going to have a quick look at the odds and tell you whether or not the Lions come in as favourites. It wouldn't surprise me if they did for this matchup, just because they have got that home field advantage. And we will go down here. We will go to here. Okay, so actually very even. The Lions are $1.97 favourites. Or sorry, $1.97 underdogs. Stormers $1.82 favourites. So literally a pick'em game. TAB can't decide. I'm still on the fence a little bit. I feel like the Stormers will want to fire back after their disappointing defeat last week. The Lions have been consistently getting a little bit better each and every game that they've played, and they have been able to take down some big sides on the road. This game's at home, though. Different story. Definitely one that you want to get yourself a percentage win in the book, because I believe it's about an 80% likeliness that you win at home in the URC or something along those lines. A very good stat. Jordan Hendrickson about to kick this one off for the Lions. And the whistle has been blown, and now this game underway, ladies and gentlemen. Right, straight away, we are going to be hoping for no technical difficulties. Our last live stream, we had more than we've ever had before. But this one, I'm hoping it is going to be well behaved. It's going to be kicked downfield from the Stormers, just clearing their lines, and now 45 metres out, the Lions will have themselves their line out, and also we have got their big love lads. I think the Lions will edge this, taking the Lions by 5, says Sebastian, and I have got the emoji up on the channel, Sebastian. Thank you very much for making that, mate. Hugely appreciated, and it does look very nice. I love the glowing pumpkin. Yeah, Halloween tomorrow. I didn't realize it was tomorrow. That is actually the 31st, so that will mean we're going to be costumized for our live streams tomorrow. Great run forward now from Horn, driving up the middle of the field, but he has been ankle tapped, and it had to be made, or else it could have been some big danger for the Stormers' defense. But the Lions trying to build forward. It seems weird, the camera angles that we got at the moment. It seems like they haven't quite worked out how to zoom in on the camera. Okay, afternoon, everyone. Let's go and have a fantastic afternoon and evening. Let's watch Club and International Rugby. Question today. It's on a wait this morning. What happened to the All Blacks? They had a close game with Japan. They narrowly were able to get themselves the victory, but Japan played brilliantly throughout that game. And yeah, the narrow victory for the All Blacks by 4 points over the Japanese. Now big run from, I believe it was PJ Bota. Now Nohamba milking the penalty. One of those kind of penalties that no one really likes, even the player who gets them. I just feel a bit bad about it, but they're going to take the easy 3 here, the Lions. And I don't think they'll be able to get themselves some balls. So they'll be able to get themselves some points on the board. No worries at all. I wanted to do the logo carved into the pumpkin. Well, that takes a bit of work. It was a mental week, says Sebastian. No, I feel like this one that you've got is just as sufficient as any type of pumpkin carving. That is one thing I've never done in real life, pumpkin carving. But we actually have about 10 pumpkins sitting outside from when we got them out of the garden. So who knows? Maybe we could try and pumpkin carve. I don't think I could trust George with a knife, though. Sounds really bad, doesn't it? But he's just a very moving person. An afternoon pissing rain here. Fire on in the Premier League. I'm buzzing for the Scotland game, says James Cody. It's going to be an absolutely awesome one, that is for sure. That kick has missed. No, it hasn't. It's gone over. These camera angles are weird at the moment. But the first points are going to be going to the Lions, the home side. 3-0 now in favour of the home team. Yeah, the camera angles, I don't know what it is at the moment, but they don't seem to be zooming in the way that they normally would. When are the Sharks playing, please? It is going to be tomorrow night at 2 a.m. They will be playing up against the Bulls. But yeah, that is 2 a.m. New Zealand time, so I believe that's around 2 p.m. South African time for you guys for a nice afternoon game. Mani Labok kicks off, looking for the ball. It's going to be nicely taken by the Lions lock. Nohamba now to roll this ball back, or does he decide? No, he will be putting it back into the pocket and kick downfield. It will be Kutsia. Gets a nice bit of distance on it. Yeah, the camera crew are really having a hard time. I don't know if the wind is blowing so they can't really control their cameras, or if they just haven't really got the cameras that they normally would. Ledian Zasto, great counter-ruck from the Lions. Now it's going to be once again Juan Horn going after it. Cleaned up by Clayton Blowick. And good day, Hamish. How's it going, mate? It's doing very well, mate. And it's absolutely awesome that we got international rugby back, and also South African derbies. Seems like the best way to kind of kick off an international season in a way. The URC after this round, I believe we don't have any URC for about 30 days, which is going to feel really weird. I'm happy with Ireland's performance in the T20 World Cup. There's James there. I did see that New Zealand got themselves the win over Sri Lanka recently. That will certainly help them out in their World Cup journeys, but that's going to be kicked downfield. Nicely taken by Jordan Hendrickson. Now goes back infield to Andreas Kutsia. Has to spin out, finds the offload to Nohamba now. Tries to find the flick off. He found Horn on the outside, 25 metres out. And yes, I agree, Hamish, the South African camera team can't focus the camera. Says Richard, yeah, it's really weird. And it's actually, in a way, it's kind of cool. I know that sounds weird, but you never realise how much work a professional camera crew does until you see a crew who aren't quite putting it together. And I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to really appreciate some of the camera work we have seen over the last year or so for rugby. It really creates, well, that was close for Angelo Davids. He had to take it back, so it will be a 5-metre scrum for the Lions. But it really shows how important it is in terms of painting the picture in our mind. Century for Glenn Phillips, yeah, he saved the Black Caps because they were not going too well. And solid logo, the Halloween one. There's Nate, and ruining England's World Cup is all I wanted us to achieve, says James Cody. Yeah, they have to wait now to see whether or not them or Australia are the next side to get knocked out of the T20 World Cup. I really wish we could cover some of the T20 World Cup, but yeah, with the copyright strike that we got last year from another YouTube channel, it just makes it too tricky and too risky to be able to do it on the channels. And cheers, Nate. There's Sebastian there. It looks like, once again, the Lions will be able to take another 3 points. These are easy early points on the board. Jordan Hendrickson going to be lining up this kick. Jaden Hendrickson was going to be with the Springboks in the upcoming international season. Is that not a dropout? I believe they went back for an original advantage that I hadn't initially picked up on. So that is going to be now 6-0 in favour of the Lions. But I believe he did take it back into the in-goal area, so it would have ended up being a 5-metre scrum if they had gone with that. But instead, they did end up going with the penalty. Out in front, one moment. We will go like that. There we go. I was just making sure no technical difficulties were going to be arising. As some of you will know, our earlier live stream, New Zealand versus Japan, was this crazy one. We ended up with the first half. It actually completely cut out for myself. We disappeared for about 5 minutes trying to get the PC back fired up. In the second half, we had a phone call from the girlfriend's mother, which actually went all right afterwards as well, I should mention. Oh, Hendrickson, good pressure on him by Evan Roas. That is now going to be going down just outside of the 22. And looks like Evan Roas might have done more damage to himself than Jordan Hendrickson in the process there. He's got the bleeding nose. Just shows that he is human after all. But yeah, he did put in the big shot on Jordan Hendrickson. A decent clearance, though, in the process. And also, next week's international games will be a cracker, says James Cody. Yeah, there are a lot of awesome matchups that are going to be taking place just around the corner, including South Africa versus Ireland. I feel is a very big match to have as an opening matchup, I should say. And yeah, and I do see that Sebastian has warned me of the membership comment. So we will go like this. And we will go like this. One moment, ladies and gentlemen. I will get that up in membership comment, boss. And also, mother-in-law here, meet the world, says Richard in there. Well, the thing is, they actually ended up watching the live stream afterwards. So anything we mentioned about my girlfriend or her mother, they saw, but not with the chat. They only heard what I read out. I should mention 15 months. Here's to many more. 15. Jeez. I need to add another little emoji, or not an emoji, another badge, don't know, for 24 months, Sebastian. But thank you very much for the amount of support that you've shown over the last 15 months, even before then when you were just watching. It's hugely appreciated. We have been through a lot of streams. You have listened to this voice for more than a lot of people would ever want to hear it in their lifetime. But for that, we are very grateful. And yeah, I guess here's to another 15 months. That's a long time. That is quite impressive. That's like 500 days that you have not got sick of me. Joseph Dweber going to be lining up this line-out throw. Now, his throws are about as straight as a bendy ruler, but that one's not too bad. It does seem like it is straight enough for them to start getting this rolling maul going forward. 8.5 minutes into this game at the moment, it seems like there is a bit of protesting going on from Paul Levet, asking for that ball at the back of the rolling maul. He has now got it now. First receiver, that's going to be Sasha Mwamezulu. Now Paul Levet goes back across, rush defense there. I believe it was Willem Alberts to get that one slightly wrong. Ruas now crashes at the line, 22 metres out. Paul Devet goes back to Labok. Clayton Blankes runs onto it nicely. Out to Angelo Davids on the wing. Tries to bulldoze over the top of Kutsia. Was dragged down nicely, 10 metres out from the line. Paul Devet gives it off to Joseph Dweber. The bulldozer runs it straight. Wasn't able to get through. That's going to be the advantage now in favour of the Stormers. Quick tap taken though, and now running close to the line. Paul Devet, ball on the outside to Angelo Davids. He's gone straight over the top of the winger. And that's going to be the try for the Stormers. Went straight over the top of Juan Horn. He said, I don't even care if you're in my way. I'm going over, and I'm going to get the 5 points for my side. That's 10 minutes into the game, and now the Stormers, if this kick goes over, they will take the lead in this contest. His first ever career try for the Stormers in the URC competition, and a long time coming for that man. And also we get the try, and also evening from Muscat Amish. Any predictions on the result of this game? I think it's going to be a close one. These two sides, they enjoy a seesaw battle. We see it all the time in the Curry Cup, and anytime South African sides play off, I'm going to go with my gut and say the Stormers by 5. That was my first initial, I guess, prediction that came to mind, but it could certainly be in favour of the Lions. We've seen already throughout this matchup, the first 10 minutes, they are capable of being able to break the line relatively easy. And that's what I do. Scotland have any hope, or have a hope today, as their France players can't play, with it not being in the international window till next week. I think Scotland, if I'm not wrong, should be favourites. But I'm going to check, because it could be wrong. Because I know that the Wallabies, they'll back the Wallabies, I would think, the TAB odds makers. But for me, Scotland are favourites. I think that they're going to be a hard side there. I think they're going to be a hard side to beat, because they have been playing week in, week out in the URC. Marnie Labok sneaks it in the right hand upright, and that will make the score now 7 points to 6 in favour of the Stormers. And also any update on England versus Greece at the moment in the England versus Greece game. The score is not going to tell me. There we go. 38 points to 4 in favour of England, almost coming into halftime. Oh, Sebastian, he's too quick, isn't he? He would have got there first, I think, and your lads are doing well. The T20 World Cup so far, says Josh Pike. They certainly are. I just wish we were able to do the live streams without getting copyright struck for the T20 World Cup. But hopefully we can do a couple of the later matches in the competition on the Kiwi Lads Sport without too much trouble. To be honest, Hamish, the Welsh may have a chance on upsetting the ABs. I think so. I think Wales, for me, the All Blacks have made a bit of an error in the way they've approached this Japan game. They've made so many changes, but they haven't given their regular players any running meters or any time out on the field. I would have thought your best bet would be to stack your bench, have the likes of Savia, Ioane, and anyone else who you feel will be starting in those upcoming games. And then from there, try and ease them into it. Ethan de Groot off the bench would have been a great option, because I think he's going to be starting up against Wales. But, it's risky business what the All Blacks have done. They only just got away with it up against Japan, and now they have to try and refine their footing. Okay, Scotland come in as slight underdogs, $2.20 compared to the $1.72 that the Australians are. So it's almost a pick'em game as well. That game going to be kicking off in only 2 hours and 15 minutes, knocked on by Dan du Plessis, just a little bit too far out in front of him, and now the scrum feed will be going the way of the home side, the Lions. And thank you, gents. Sebastian and Hamish says, Nate, no worries at all, mate. And another game coming up later on today. I believe it's Fiji versus Fiji playing Italy, or is it Australia versus Italy? Fiji plays Scotland and Australia, Italy. Those are the two games. Game over already. They really have to sort out the Rugby League World Cup. Getting silly at this stage, says Richard. Yeah, I think they just need to get it down to the quarters, and then those games will start to even themselves out. Also, Stuart Hogg played for Exeter yesterday, so no Hoggy at fullback, nor Finn Russell at fly half, says Sebastian. Although from memory, who'd they play? Scotland. I know that they played someone. That's a great statement, isn't it? But they played someone when they had all those young players in their lineup, and they did very well. That's very vague, but I believe it was the game that the young winger got a hat trick, whose name, of course, I've forgotten now. And also another player got 4 tries. I can't remember who they were playing, though, but they really scored a lot. It might have actually been up against Tonga that they were able to get a great run away. And Irish Black Caps once again qualified into the semis by beating Sri Lanka by 65 runs. We'll do commentary for the semis. I hope to, but it all depends on, I guess, how many other channels I hear of that are getting taken down. Darcy Graham, that's the one, sorry. That's a name that I should be able to remember, isn't it? He plays in the URC each and every week. And Tonga last November, says Richard, and right, the Stormers, we got this, don't mess us up, put your head in the game and win this week. Got it, and hello again, Kiwi lads, twice in one day. Hope you had a rest in between, Hamish. I think the Lions will give Stormers good scrap today. Meow grrr, says Ruth in there as well. I didn't sleep in between. I probably should have, but I didn't. I actually ended up editing a video that will be going up on the channel at, I believe, 7 p.m. New Zealand time tomorrow night. It was the video of me and George playing Samoa versus France. We did end up playing along with that game, and it was a lot of fun. There's some interesting moments in there, a bit of swearing as well, but I've censored most of it. Yeah, George, very excited in the second half. Compared to the first, that's going to be a great scrum from both sides. The Lions, though, they have it available. Jordan Hendricks now tries to find the offload. I believe it was Edward Finaminerva. Does have a bit of a carry. I said that very strangely. Another big run from Willem Alberts. A penalty advantage, and the penalty goes the way of the Lions. I mean, Nohamba's easily making himself my least favourite player on the field at the moment, the way he's trying to milk absolutely everything. They already had the penalty. He didn't have to try and be annoying with it, I guess you could say. And also, Ola says Nate and Samoa versus Greece on Rugby League Live 4, says Sebastian there. Yeah, we did that one recently, and then we're doing the follow-up of it with Samoa versus France. It didn't go well for a start anyway. But it was good fun. Ivan Ruas is just showing off a bit of that strength that he's got. It was a good run from Ruan Fenta. Went straight at him. Yeah, I want to say I've heard good things about that Samoa versus Greece one on Rugby League Live 4. Did you guys enjoy it, or would you prefer, I guess, not us doing it? Sounds brutal, but yeah, is it something that you do want to see more of, or is it something you think you don't really need in your life? And let me know. That one's gone over, and the Lions now making the score 9 points to 7. So currently still going up in the 3-pointers, yet to get themselves a try in this contest, but it could be just around the corner for the Lions very soon. It sounds like we are having a water break after only 16 minutes. I like that video. Looking forward to the next upload. Says Sebastian there. And good day, good sir. Says Mike Gamma. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. And that reminds me, Sebastian, we still need to film something to do with the England cricket team on Cricket 22. We've missed the World Cup. We missed the series of Pakistan T20s. What should we film? Do let me know. And I was just saying Leinster last night. So what do you think of the Italy ref? I didn't actually get to see the game. Sadly, they didn't show it here in New Zealand, which was weird because Leinster, one of those big sides that I would have thought they'd have a majority of their games, but they decided against it for that one, for the licensing side of things, I think. And David has said, the legend, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Angelo Davids already scoring himself a try for the Stormers. Actually, the only try we have seen throughout this matchup at this point in time. But they are having the water break. Of course, they have the compulsory one in each of the halves. It does mean it's a bit weird at times, I will be honest, but it's just one of those ones. They want to make sure the players are well and truly hydrated. Seems like Ivan Ruas has certainly got plenty of fans in attendance. Now, Water break almost over, which is great news. Currently, like I mentioned, just the one. And Hamish, how have you been, says David Simon White? And I've been pretty good. Overall, I've been busy, I guess you could say, with the amount of international stuff that is coming up relatively soon. We have been doing the URC. We've got the international rugby coming back, and that is kind of in place of the URC. We've got the Rugby League World Cup. We've been covering quite a few of those games for the competition. We've got 2 tomorrow, I believe, and then also one the next day after that. The T20 World Cup's going on. I've hardly been able to watch some of the games, unfortunately, with the sleep-in schedule. But yeah, it's been good. It's been hectic, but good. And also, I'm so embarrassed that we still didn't get to do it now. Now we walk into a period of time with absolutely hectic weekends packed with international games, says Sebastian. We might have to try and do it strategically and maybe do some of the BBL. Or maybe... See, that's the thing. If the Ashes were this year, it would be perfect because we'd be all organised by then, I would think. But yeah, I'm sure we'll have to get something. And as long as you keep us updated, says David, and there is our Stormers stop making mistakes, says James. And there as well. But currently 17 minutes in, it is going to be another line-out throw for the Stormers. Line-outs won and line-outs lost. Looking very similar for these two sides. Both teams actually losing one of their lineouts. That was a bit of a yawn. Just Weber throws it into Diamani, who now gives it off to Paul DeVette. First receiver, I believe, was Dan Duplessis, who has almost been crushed in the breakdown. Nice work from Marius Lowe, and he's taking it back for the Lions now. He passed across to the short side, it seems like. The ball security from the Stormers hasn't been the best throughout the early stages, while the ref was the worst ref I have saw. Every little thing leads to 135-5. And there's Richard now out to the winger. It will fit the move and not a lot of space there, but 40 metres out from their own line now. Eva Roas wins the penalty for the Stormers. He's a hard man to shift when he gets over that ball, and he has just proved it once again. Currently got a black eye, blood on this side, nose has blood coming out of it. I feel like he's just pretty much decided that he's going to use his face to make all of the tackles for this matchup, which isn't a recommended tackling technique. I heard the ref was dodgy, Richard. I only saw the highlights. And what's your feeling about the Lions today? Stormers giving away stupid penalties that lose their advantage. There's Ruth. So yeah, I think I'm still Stormers by 5, but I could easily see it going a different direction in this game. All the Lions need to do is make sure they don't allow the Stormers to get this rolling maul try, because that might change the momentum a little bit more as well. Joseph De Weber going to be the man who will be throwing in this ball. Only 5 metres out as well. So this will be a perfect rolling maul opportunity here for the Stormers. Joseph Weber, he's shouting a lot. Is that going to mean that he has a relatively straight line-out throw, though? It's a different story normally. The Weber, he throws it in, it's over the top, it's overthrown, and Nahamba tries to clean it up, gives it a big fly boot, but it's going to be bouncing back into the side of the Stormers, 10 metres out for the line. And now it looks like it's almost become a rolling maul anyway. Now it's called as the tackle. So the Lions aren't able to get in there, although they did. And it is actually going to be the penalty. Rohan Dreyer does manage to win the ball. I always say he looks like a stockier version of Quaka Smith. And I will stick by that statement because he does. The penalty has been won nicely by the Lions. Jordan Hendrickson now will be able to relieve that pressure and kick it back down the field as well. For anyone who doesn't know, there is another match of rugby taking place a little bit later on today. It is going to be the game between Scotland and Australia. It is kicking off in just over 2 hours' time. We will be covering that match on the channel. Should be a very entertaining one indeed. The Lions could maul the Stormers today, says Roof, and also he was big time Sebastian, says Richard. As well with the Stormers, they are disappointed with the fact they weren't able to make the most of that opportunity. Last 5 penalties conceded is actually relatively even. We've seen it go on a seesaw, which means the next penalty should theoretically be against the Lions if we are keeping our current way that it is going. Right now, that's going to be Stormers all day. That was not the best throw from PJ Borta. Now Mani Labok gives it off now into the midfield. Ngome Zulu gives it off to Clayton Mlonekis. Inside ball with the offload. Off to, once again, Ngole Zulu. His name just comes out a little bit different each time I say it. This point in time, Paul DeVette now giving it off. Okay, there's going to be the penalty advantage in favour of the Stormers. So literally exactly like we mentioned, if it did continue going that same way, I think it's going to be another penalty advantage this time for the high tackle. Refs are there to be criticised especially when they make silly calls, says Ruth. But that one is against PJ Borta for the high tackle. So not only did he not get the throw right, in fact, that was JP Smith, my apologies, to get penalised there. Is Lions legit? Or is it, is Lions light? Or is it just me, says Richard? In terms of the size of their pack, or in terms of what for? Richard, do let me know. Looks like they're puffing a little bit. They've only just had the drinks break, which means they've got to wait a little bit longer before they do get their next one. I believe the next one they can have will be in about 15 minutes. And it does become, they're checking something upstairs here. This might actually be a little bit more serious than just a JP Smith high tackle. They may look at this a few more times. By the way, the URC channel are now posting instant highlights pretty much minutes after the game finishes. Good to see they sorted out the gap between the game and the highlights upload. Well, that's very handy, because I know it was it Premier Sports who were actually beating them to the punch for the URC. But I think they're learning from what maybe the Rugby League World Cup have been doing. It has been pretty impressive how quickly they get their highlights up. Jordan Hendrickson, they might say it's a bit of a swinging arm, the weight of their players, says Richard. I mean, I think they might just be going for a little bit of that lighter forward trio. Right, they got to slow this one down, and he nearly took his head off. Here's Richard. Right, this angle's not really going to show it for us. We know there's head contact on Paul the Vet. This is the angle here. Catches him on there. Right on the jawline. So you'd have to say, theoretically, law book states if it's head contact, mitigation and whatnot, you're probably, I would say, a yellow card, although that swinging action from Hendrickson makes it look a little bit worse. For me, it's either a yellow or a red. I hope it's a yellow, and Exactly Plus many people rely on highlights and channels such as this for live commentary, says Sebastian. Yeah, I'm wondering if ever one day we're going to start to see big broadcasting companies actually start to broadcast games on YouTube and whatnot. Because we've seen it a little bit for the under-20 URC. Not the under-20 URC, the under-20 Six Nations. We did see it. I would like to think that in the future as well, we're going to see it a little bit more, even if it's just from like one stock standard angle and they don't have all the fancy stuff, just to get it up on YouTube as an option for people to be able to see. Because at least that way, the revenue, rather than going to illegal streams, like the broadcasters are actually going to get the money for it. And I would say, says Richard, for the red card. Okay, because it's indirect, I think they are going to be giving it as a yellow card for Jordan Hendrickson. So he will be spending the next 10 minutes off the field thinking about what he has done. They got to find him first. Where's he hiding? If I was him, I'd hide behind a prop or a lock, someone a bit bigger. And West Indies and Pakistan stream their cricket games on YouTube, says Sebastian. So yeah, I wish more would follow suit for that kind of thing. Yes, it kind of, in a way, like, depending on what sport it is, could take us out of a job. But it's always been, I've said it from the start, if there's a way of watching the game for free, like, I highly recommend you guys do check those options out. So if it meant that more people were able to watch the game for free on YouTube, I feel like I would be more than happy to take the step aside and say, right, finally we have got the option there. Of course, we still do our live streams, even if it was for the smaller amount of people watching. We still, as you guys know, we do it for 3 people if they are watching, and we have a good time while doing it. Very lucky boy, says Richard. And let's go the Lions, says Alta. And there as well. Yeah, just the yellow card for Jordan Hendrickson. This will be the 3-point attempt here for the Stormers, and very lucky boy. And very, says Nate there as well. That kick's gone over from Mani Labok, and that will now make this score after 22 minutes, 10 points for the Stormers and 9 for the Lions. So a little bit of a lead for the Stormers, but only a very, very small one at this point in time. Let's go. The Stormers, says it was Russell there. And Oz, are you doing Munster versus Ulster? I am not. Unfortunately, they're not actually showing that game here in New Zealand, so we aren't able to do that matchup. But we will be doing the game between Scotland and Australia is the next one that we have got on the channel. And also, come bring the storm to Josie. And this is Magama. Kicked off now. Come on for Kutsia. Please stay Hams. We love you. Says Alter in there. Yeah, I have no intentions of slowing down on the YouTubing side of things. I am working currently a part-time job alongside YouTube, but I have been able to balance that pretty well so that I can pretty much fund the YouTube channel while also working, which has been a good combination. I feel like I've been a busy boy behind the scenes, but I am doing plenty, keep them busy. At this stage, that is going to be a little bit of a mistake there from the Stormers, and the Lions get themselves another penalty, and you could talk over the YouTube and work for them, says Richard there, and I'm a Stormer for life, says Russell, and the chat as well. So in at the side is the penalty call. Nohamba, he might give it to Kutsio, who I think is saying go for the corner. No, they're going for the post here. Who's going to be lining up? It looks like it's going to be Nohamba, who has decided he wants to have a kick at the post in the early stages of this matchup. I feel like the good news is this game's probably going to go relatively slow for us, which is kind of nice because it's a slow, I guess, or it's a nice build-up and a nice change of pace. At Scotland versus Australia match on TV in Ireland, I would have no idea. I assume if it's anything like the All Blacks Japan game, it won't be because, like, I guess it is outside of that window. Who's the Lions coach? Not actually too sure who they got as the head coach at the moment. The first kick of the match is actually going to be from 56 metres out for Nohamba, so it's going to be a tough one. And who's your boss? Will send a heartfelt message to keep you as the best commentator, says Mo Gammett. Believe it or not, my boss is my dad for the building side of things, but it's actually been very awesome being able to balance them. That's a great kick from Nohamba. It's gone straight over the middle, and now 12 points to 10 in favour of the Lions. But yeah, because it is my dad as my boss type thing, he's been willing to let me do the Rugby League World Cup in the mornings, then I start going to work in the afternoon, and then just kind of balance it around YouTube. So if the All Blacks are announcing their side, he will say to me, like you can work up till they are going to announce it, then you can head home, do your video, upload it, and then come back to work afterwards, which is very handy. I don't think you can get too many bosses who will let you go home because the All Blacks have announced their team. Ever thought of coming to South Africa? I would like to come to South Africa at some stage. I don't think it's in my near future plans, but somewhere down the line, I would love to end up in South Africa at some point. It's going to be kicked downfield from Kutsia. I think he's trying to say that it was partially charged down and is asking for the possible line out in favour of the Lions, but I don't think he's going to get it. In prime video, I have all 21 matches for Ireland, England, Wales, and Scotland, and Ian Foster making 9 changes to the originals lineup. Almost himself next week versus Wales. And also we have got there Quinn struggling without Marcus Smith. We're going to see the depth of some of these premiership sides when they do lose their big guns now in the next little while. Did New Zealand win this morning? They did only just, though. They won by 4 points, which was certainly not the margin that they were after. They certainly wanted to win it by a lot more than that. But Japan played extremely well. Joseph Dweba throws it in relatively straight. Close enough anyway. Now, Ngumezulu goes off to Angelo Davis with the forward pass. It's also gone into touch. And I'll say it was your path to life that started this channel, says Mo Gammett. And the Lions kicker does the business as a ding-dong battle so far, like fast ping-pong on side, or one side to the other, says Ruth. And there, yeah, it's certainly been a chess battle between these two sides for the first 26 minutes. We've only seen one try, and that was the try by Angelo Davis. Your prediction for Scotland versus Australia? I'll go Scotland by 3. I think it will be a close matchup. But I just feel like Scotland have got something up their sleeve for the game. And Ireland playing next week, they are going to be playing South Africa. So a tough matchup for the Irish coming up just around the corner. But it should be an entertaining one. And you're looking forward to it. Forward pass, says Richard, it was. So they are going to be going for the scrum feed now in favour of the Lions. Nohamba, that will give them a lot of confidence nailing that kick from 56 metres out on the angle while they don't have Jordan Hendricks out on the park. But you may only see one try throughout this first half of rugby, ladies and gentlemen. That would be all right. We're still at 22 points, though, on the board already. Front row's crouching. Hopefully, front row's not going down for a scrum reset. Hopefully. Close to falling down that ball. They didn't get the hook on it, and that might make it very difficult. Penalty goes the way of the Lions, though. And once again, the Stormers are just getting penalised. Back to back at the moment. Hard out, Marcus Smith, missing player. Watching Quins versus London Irish. And yes, 5:30 p.m. Irish time next Saturday. Says Richard in there. And sorry, Ruth, I'm living in the past. Isn't the coach anymore? It's Ivan van Vrooyen. And yes, there's Sebastian. You may have noticed I didn't try and pronounce that man's name just because I had no clue how it would have happened for that original coach. That's going to be a nice kick downfield from the Lions. Your prediction for England versus South Africa, says Luke. I'll have to see both sides in action first because based off paper, with it being in the Northern Hemisphere, you would think England would have a decent crack, but South Africa, they're a tough side when they are on the road. And I think it's going to be a close game from what I know of the sides now. But until we see them in action a little bit, know how they're gelling and what type of injuries they'll have, it's too hard to predict this far out, I would say. As a Stormers supporter, we relax first half, have a try party in the second half, says Mo Gammett. Now going to be available, nicely done by Emmanuel Tachuka, who's done beautifully to keep it on the side of the Lions. Nohamba tried to run through Evan Royce. He's lost his footing there. That would have almost been an advantage. Tachuka does well. 14 metres out from the line now for the Lions. Nohamba gives it off now to the big men. It's going to be Willem Alberts. Nice carry outside centre for the Quins. Put him on the wings. See his Nate there. And the big run. Player looks... Is he all right? He looks like he might be a little bit rocked there, Nathaniel. He hasn't got up as of yet. Very slow getting back to his feet. Still 40 metres out, going off to the side to Shuka. Once again, getting tackled by Rohan Fenta. In fact, sorry, that would have actually been Ernest van Rennen who made the tackle there. Went with the wrong side. Mahamba gives it off to Emmanuel Tachuka. That seems to be the combination they're going with for the Lions. The only difference is they still haven't made the meters. Now Kutsia with the cutout pass. Here comes the big prop, trying to break the line. The ball's been stripped away from him, though, and it's going to be a knockout advantage in favour of the Stormers. Now Clayton Blomekes at the back has to try and clean up, and it looks like they're going to be able to do just that. Lillian Zas has the carry back. He's got Manny Labok with him. He had pulled the feet as well, but it's going to be the counter-attack now for the Lions after the drop ball from the Stormers. Waiting for that ball. It will fund the mover down the wing. Good tackle made on him by Nkume Zulu. Humber going off to the left here once again. Another big carry forward. Almost dropped on his face there. Emmanuel Tachuka. He's had a huge amount of carries throughout it. And also we have there Anyan Wu. Says Sebastian and yep. Says Nate. And there is going to be another penalty advantage in favour of the Stormers. And they are going back for that penalty. Johan Nedeling for Shear, the man who was penalised for that one. I think both of these sides are at the moment just willing to take those 3 pointers when they arise. Thanks, Sebastian. At least he didn't have a late night put in Japan like Sam, eh? And looking at English club rugby in Japan this morning doing so well, England will be very lucky to win any game this November, says Richard. Although that's the thing, England are used to being the side that people do normally say are going to do badly, and then they normally are able to step up. So I wouldn't underestimate the English at the moment. Yes, they haven't looked like they've got the best form, but sometimes not having the best form can then help you out big time if it does end up going a lot better. Did that make sense? That didn't make sense, I don't think. I was kind of making random words. Humber going to be lining up this kick now. Taking a couple steps back. He's already got one conversion out, which is why Ivan was successful, whereas Sam isn't, says Sebastian. Yeah, Sam Kane, for me, there were a few red flags in the way that he played up against Japan. I feel like Papali'i might be the number 7 sooner than we think, or maybe Savia transitions back to 7. Nohamba, he's got that one over. He's going to make the score now 15 points to the Lions and 10 to the Stormers for a game that hasn't had any tries scored other than just the one. It seems like, I don't know, it seems like there is quite a lot of hype around it. I feel like I'm cautiously looking at my Wi-Fi bar every once in a while now just to make sure that it's going to be behaving, and it does seem like it is so far in this matchup. The scoreboard is not, though. It is 15 points to 10 in favour of the Lions after 32 minutes. Nicely taken there, I believe that was the number 7, Rohan Fenta, Munster versus Ulster tonight, says Blue Conway. It's going to be a good game of rugby. We aren't able to cover it on the channel, unfortunately, due to them not showing it on Spark Sport, but we'll be keeping an eye on it. See exactly who is able to get themselves the victory. Decent clearance downfield from this time Jordan Hendrickson, who has now made his way back out onto the field after his yellow card for the swinging arm. Stormers, though, they've got themselves the line out. Joseph Weber, once again, I'm going to say, he needs this one to be relatively straight. Yes, it will relieve the pressure from the Lions. I hope my eyes aren't too bloodshot for tomorrow, because if they are, although actually it's good if they are, because it's a Halloween party, so I feel like I can just say whatever I am is just like on drugs. So I can just say I'm Harry Potter on drugs. That was not a straight throw from Joseph Weber. It's unfortunate. From like they've said, he's been right on the verge of straight and not straight. He apologises to his teammates, but he's really got to work on that. You would think for a player at this level, should be able to get that line out relatively straight. And with less than 1 year to go to the World Cup, I wonder if New Zealand Rugby right in saying they won't win the World Cup. Says Richard. I mean, it's going to be tough for them because they haven't really looked like a side who will be able to do too well in some of those big matches. Looking dangerous, Lions roaring ahead. Yes, Amish, I agree. Paul Sam looked out of his depth today, says Roof. And the thing is, if he looked out of his depth up against Japan, nothing against Japan, of course, with this statement, but up against those top sides, looking at top 5 in the world, he's really going to struggle. And I think the only thing that has kept him where he is so far for so long is the fact that he's the captain. But as soon as he's not captain, I think he's gone, unfortunately. And they will find someone to replace him. But currently, 34 minutes through, it's going to be another scrum reset. On these two sides. Humber about to feed the ball in for the Lions. If they can get themselves another try, or their first try, in fact, I should say, and Dalton Papali'i better take Sam's place in the European games, says Sebastian. Yeah, at least, I want to say at least one of them. I know it sounds like not too many when they've got 3 games, but just give them one game at least just to keep them there. You know, give them a chance, because it seems like they want to keep Kane around for a lot longer. I don't see Kane as an option for the Rugby World Cup, though, in 2023. I feel like by then he would have almost done his dash. He might end up getting injured before then, though. Kutsia gets it downfield. Waiting for the awkward bounce. Zulu has done beautifully there. Gives it off to Mani Labok, who goes for the 50-22, getting some decent distance, cleaned up by the Lions, who now will be firing back a kick of their own. It is Jordan Hendrickson. Get some good height on that one. Miscommunication. Nicely taken by Evan Ruiz, though. Now trying to break through. Good low tackle made on him by Edward Futtenmerva. Still 5 minutes left in this half. It's going to be kicked out by Mani Labok. Davids, Jason Hard, nicely taken by Kurtzia, who now breaks the line, finds the offload on the inside. Another offload. Emmanuel Tachuka starts to get the legs driving, trying to link up. Wasn't able to find Marius Lowe, but instead gave it off to Horn, who's lost his footing. Gets back up to his feet, almost going again. And it's Henko van Vyk, in fact, who has been able to score himself the try there. The Lions have been able to get themselves a very handy try. It was Henko van Vyk who was able to go over the line, score the first try of the match for the Lions, and now they have got themselves a 10-point lead. We have got there for sure, or else Houston, we ain't moving, says Nate. And there, so yeah, they've got some big decisions to make in terms of what side they actually want to go with moving forward, because it's all well and good putting them in there, but when it comes to those important games, is he still going to be the one that they decide to go with? Because he's had one good game in his last 10, Sam Cane, unfortunately. And, I mean, in his game when he had a good game, we praised him. We said he's done very well there. But other than that, he hasn't really been sensational. And I just wonder if New Zealand loses all 3, will Joe take over for the World Cup, says Richard. Hard to say. Because New Zealand Rugby, they keep on doing this thing, how they keep locking in Ian Foster for longer, even before he has proven himself as the coaching option. Try for the Lions. Yeah, Sebastian also, it's like playing rugby into a 100-kilometer wind, exhausting. We need some downtime, go the Lions. Here's Ruth and there as well. But Henko van Vyk, he was initially almost unable to get over the line. It was due to him losing his footing, but he got straight back up and was able to get the job done in the end, giving the Lions a nice little lead heading into half-time now, sitting 22 points to 10 up with the successful conversion. Picked up high from Mani Labok. Goes short, nicely taken by Willem Alberts. Humber looking off to the right-hand side, going to be using some of his big forwards this time. PJ Aborta, the man who does carry it, and also off topic, but in it, Glenn Phillips, a champion first, that amazing catch in his latest century, 104 off 64. Yeah, I said it earlier on, he saved the Black Caps in their game up against Sri Lanka. It could have been well and truly off. I'm talking about Sam Cane says Ruth, and there with the 100-kilometer win. Yeah, he just seems like the legs and the body aren't quite doing what they used to for Sam Cane, which is a shame because it's always going to be one of those ones that the player themselves has to decide when it's time to hang up the boots. I think it's getting close to that time for Cane. Unless, of course, like Super Rugby-wise, I feel like he'll still be a very handy player to have for the Chiefs. But international-wise, I just don't know if his ticker is able to go enough. And I'm very disappointed with the Stormers. They can play much better. I remember that I bet 50 quids on the Lions winning the URC last year. What a waste of time and money, says Sebastian there. Although this year, they might not go too badly. But I remember straight away, the Lions just didn't start the season very well. And it seemed like it was gone from the get-go, wasn't it? And sorry, Sam Cane, your time with the GOAT Richie McCaw has come to an end, my guy. King Country Boy Bay of Plenty and Chiefs as your lead now, says Nate. Well, currently the Stormers now looking off to the short side. Paul DeVette sitting 39 minutes through, trying to get themselves maybe a possible last-minute try in this one. That's going to be a penalty advantage in favour of the Stormers, no? It's actually given it in favour of the Lions for not releasing. Now, you would have to argue there was a player who was in that breakdown who possibly should have been penalised for not rolling away. Wait, who's Glenn? My bad. In a blonde moment. Or who we got? Wait a moment. Glenn Phillips. What is his first name? Is it Glenn? Glenn Phillips, the Black Caps cricketer. I should mention. I got confused there for a second as well. Kane won't go till Foster goes, unfortunately, says Nazi Williams. Jordan Hendrickson takes the quick tap, kicks it into touch, and that is going to be half-time in this fixture. 22 points to 10 in favour of the Lions. The home side there, Sam, I said that very weird. Sam is more than suitable for Super Rugby and Bunnings EPC, but the All Blacks, I need a persistent grafter, says Sebastian. Yeah, you need a workhorse, someone like an Ethan Blackadder, Dalton Papali. He seems to be another option that they may go with in the future. Alongside that, you've also got, someone like a Tom Christie, Billy Harmon, one of those guys that will just make tackle after tackle after tackle and keep working hard throughout the full 80 minutes. And that Stormers coach will have to bang the table and shout at halftime, hey, thanks, great game, Kiwi lads, you rock more than Guns N' Roses. Or do we know any Guns N' Roses songs on the guitar? No, not that I can think of, but we still know the South African national anthem, which I feel like it's kind of something we have to do every single live stream that involves the South African side now. So we'll just speed run it. There we go. We got it out of the way nice and quickly for ourselves. That was actually quite smooth, the way that went. I've been practicing the guitar to serenade my girlfriend. Hasn't worked very well because I'm not the best at the guitar. As I agree with the ref, because the Lions standing over him, hands on the ball, says Richard. Also, I should mention that Happy Birthday does not work as a serenation song, just so you guys know for future reference. And also, we've got our, here we go. And also, Mogamma, there were some emojis in the chat as well. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, of the Stolen versus Australia game, who do you think will be a player that will be one to definitely watch out for? I'm excited to see Michael Hooper back in action for the next matchup. He has been out for a very long time. We didn't see him during the Rugby Championship, but I hope he is able to do very well for himself in the near future in the serenade the mum as well. This is Nazi Williams. Not so much the mum. Overall, he's going to cover the South African national. Why do I keep on adding national? The South African anthem is great, only second best to La Marseillaise, which I've said wrong, but I believe that's a French anthem. Darcy Graham for me, says Sebastian, and not now, buddies, says Arnold. And then thanks, awesome, says Roof as well, but currently sitting 22 points to 10 in favour of the Lions. It's going to be interesting to see how the second half goes, because the Stormers, we are yet to really see anything from them that shows a defending champion side. Lucky girlfriend, says Roof there as well. Yeah, she is currently sleeping, as most people are, at 3:50 a.m. But that is actually who I'm going to the Halloween party with tomorrow, that I did mention a bit earlier on. And we've also got a Halloween costume lined up for the live stream later on. I actually thought that I had more time. I actually thought that it was going to be the day after tomorrow, but it's not. So we will have a costume lined up. We've got it all sorted out. We just need to get it pretty much organised, I guess, is the best way of describing it. Currently, they are just showing the highlights of the first half of this fixture. The Lions, they were able to get themselves quite a few points from three-pointers. They got 15 to be exact. That just slowly kept on ticking up and up and up a little bit more. And because of that, they were able to create themselves this nice lead of the 12 points. And Henko van Veek getting himself a try at the end of the first half also helped them out very nicely. Darcy Swainsby playing tonight, the Gronk. And there's they strategically did it so that his suspension could come to an end a lot earlier for him being in the Australia A squad. Like I said last week, Lions are the dark horse. These 1, 2, 3 MS, and Lions are going for the clean kill. They'll come out firing second half, says Ruth. And for them currently, when they are sitting in ninth, I would think a bonus point win will be something the Lions feel is actually doable in this contest, because theoretically, they get themselves the bonus point win just for argument's sake. They move up to third on the URC table, which is massive for them, definitely because they will still have a game in hand over Leinster while sitting at the top. And also a few of the other sides have got that game in hand over the Lions, like the Bulls. They will be playing an extra matchup. Edinburgh, Cardiff, Glasgow, they have all had another game more than the Lions side. But yeah, it's going to be a close table, I think, this year. And they may win the URC, says the 1, 2, 3 MS. And hopefully your missus not Māori Amish. Will be cooking the eggs. She is not. I can confirm. And excuse my language, everyone. Sorry, Boss Amish. Says Nate. And then, no, it's all good. Anytime I hear that word, I just think of what's his name? Rob Gronkowski from the NFL. And does girlfriend like rugby? Says Richard. She does a little bit. I guess probably not as much as myself. Like, she wouldn't stay up till a random hour of the night to watch a game, but she would if it was me doing the live stream for it, if that makes sense. But like, she's slowly getting into it a little bit more. And also should have been a read from Hendricks. He's not the everyday cultist. And just saying, I think Leinster will win 18 out of 18, says Richard. I can't believe Munster don't even fit into the table picture, says Sebastian. Yeah. It's so weird that they aren't in the top 11 as of yet. But as we get a little bit further in the comp, I do hope that they get closer to that top 8. They've got a strong enough side to be able to go far in the comp. They just need to start continuously getting it right, which would include a massive win over Ulster if they can get that job done. Let's enjoy it. Exciting second half, says Ruth. And there's hopefully it is going to be a high scoring one, only Jason Bart Murray. So it's not racism, says Nazi. Don't worry, I didn't take it as anything racist for that one. But yeah, I still wonder how the conversation would have gone earlier if I had answered the phone, because it was actually her trying to ring from her mum's phone because her phone died. But her mum was there as well, so it would have been an interesting moment on the stream. Yeah, Ulster has a proper test tonight, says Sebastian. Wow, just saw the score. Japan 38, New Zealand, or 31, New Zealand 38. Yeah, it was a close game. New Zealand, they certainly can't underestimate Japan, and they kind of did. Can she play guitar like you? She can't play guitar, but she can play piano, and she's pretty good at it too, if I do say so myself. The thing is, it's weird me saying about this, because normally, like, I don't get my hopes up too much in some regards. I try and keep it like slightly on the down low, as the kids would say. But I think there's a pretty decent chance you guys might meet her one day, which is promising, you'd have to say. And catch Bobby Bellacoon if you can, eh? Says Sebastian. And Leinster is not going to have a clean sweep. And you part Maro Cuz, says Nate to Nazi Williams. And there as well. But currently 12 points difference between these two sides. I can play the Boogie Woogie on piano. It's a classic. I can play Mary Had a Little Lamb and Lean on Me on the piano. Yeah, bro, I'm part Islander and Irish. Fruit salad. Nazi Williams in there. So a little bit of everything scattered in there. I had some mango the other day. I know that this seems like it's coming out of nowhere. We always have random halftime chats on these live streams. But, yeah, mango, decent. Not too bad, almost in season, I think. And why aren't you doing the Rugby League World Cup watch along, says James Cody. Pretty much the reasoning behind it is some of the games will be overlapping. We are doing a nice little balance. We're going to have the Rugby League World Cup tomorrow night. We will be doing a lot more of it. So we have got tomorrow night, we are hoping to do Tonga versus Cook Islands and also do the matchup between Samoa and France. Those are the two games we're going to be doing. And then on the Tuesday, we are going to have the next game. That is Papua New Guinea versus Wales. And, well, the altitude in Ireland is Rugby World Cup Club Rugby. Till then, if we win, if we don't, we don't. World Cup #1 in Ireland, says Richard. And shout out to my Mrs. Anita Bath. Anita got me there. You did get me. And I'm a coconut Maori on the outside and British on the inside. I love that description, Nate, says Sebastian. And so back to Sam Cane. Yeah, now Sam Cane's still not quite doing it for a lot of people, you'd have to say, at the moment. And also, we have got the from Nazi Williams and the chat as well. But yeah, currently second half, not too far away from getting underway, I would think. I'm trying to look around to see if my coverage is frozen or everyone is just standing extremely still. I think everyone is not standing extremely still. Oh, no, they were. Everyone was just extremely still. Playing a game of statues. I'm so sorry, Hamish. Love you, brother. So good. Does anyone know channels to watch South Africa League? Not too sure. I know that they've got a game coming up, the South African side, but I'm not too sure when that is taking place for themselves. And Lions coach said to his team, shake, rattle, and roll. Nice to hear she can play piano and accompany you on the guitar, says Ruth. And there as well. But yeah, I always say it's weird because I do not leave the lounge. So the fact that I've gotten this lucky in my ventures that aren't really leaving the lounge is quite incredible, really. I guess you could say. Currently second half, not too far away. Seems like a great bloke from interviews, etc., etc. Sam Cane, wish him all the best. Just seems he's a bit behind it these days, yeah. Like, that's the thing. He's a great bloke. On the field, off the field, decent, good person. But unfortunately, there comes a time where being a good person only gets you so far on the rugby field. I think they come back, says Arnold also. You're saying a Stormers come back in the second half. I think you might not be too far off there, Arnold. I think we're going to see some decent play from the Stormers in the second 40 minutes. And, they're the type of side that can close out a game with a bonus point in a very short amount of time. While you're a grafter, the ladies come to you, mate, says Sebastian in there as well. Yeah. Strange times, isn't it? But I guess, yeah, it's good overall. I don't think she'll see this live stream, so that's all right. I feel like me just chatting about her will be all right. And also, love says Nazi Williams. And they're all the South African sides making their way back onto the field. We're going to do a speed run of the South African national anthem again for anyone who did miss it earlier on. Here we go. I rushed it at the end. I was trying to go a little bit too quick because I heard the music in my ears that they normally play when they're just about to start commentating. Sam Cane, Jamie, he can join Yankees on sabbatical. Although first he's got to try and do it with the dietitian. Was he ever confirmed, ladies and gentlemen? Do let me know. Did he actually do the dietitian, or was it just a rumor? Elton Yankees. Of course, do the dietitian's probably not the best wording of that scenario, but yeah. Apparently the Lions, they've made their way back out onto the field. The Stormers just a little bit later making their way back out there, getting a few more refreshments perhaps before they make their way out onto the field. I should mention in 1 hour and 20 minutes time, we are going to be starting our next live stream. That is Scotland versus Australia. Possession in the first half, 60% in favour of the Lions. Tackles made. We did see 53 from the Stormers compared to the 30 of the Lions. And the meters made 193 for the Lions compared to the 89 of the Stormers. So not a huge amount of running meters throughout that first 40 minutes for either side. And also we have got there, can anyone recommend some good Sappho rap artists? I know Die aren't word. Die aren't word. I'm looking for some more Diane. Diane. Is that actually the name or have I mispronounced it? Diane word. Diane. I feel like I'm overthinking everything now. This is your fault from earlier on, the man who only has a space as his name, who got me with Anita Bath. Now, the Storm is going to be kicking off this one. I love to see the Lions finally doing well, says Dead Tune. Yeah, last year they weren't quite able to fire off the way a few people expected, but this year they have been looking a lot better. And it's going to be a knock-on straight away, unfortunately, from the Lions just to get them underway. Paul the Vet goes back to Evan Ross now. Tackled low by PJ Water, but the Storm is on hot attack, 22 meters out from the line. LeBoc slings it off now. Good tackle made low on Junior Poco Melly. He had a great game last week. As Africans for the answer, or Afrikaans for the answer. I see. Interesting. I should have known that, as I have been doing a bit of Afrikaans, and by a bit, I mean I still know the same sentences that I've always known. Zulu kicks to the mind. It's going to go into touch, but the Stormers have got themselves the penalty advantage, and now they will be able to look for the touchline. Yeah, who are the favourites between the Sharks and the Stormers? Is 1, 2, 3 MS. I would say, for me, it's the Sharks versus Stormers, or the Sharks versus the Bulls game. That's coming up 1, 2, 3 MS. Do let me know. It's like a bit of an injury here for one of the Lions players. The point, I love it. He snacked at midnight. Too many calories. Very naughty. Hamish, you cracked me up, says Ruth Carter. And there is and also I think the Sharks is Dead Tune for that one. Emmanuel Dachuk hopefully not going to be injured because he's very good. And they do not want to lose him. For this matchup, and Sharks versus Bulls, I mean, says 1, 2, 3 MS. So for that game, currently the Stormers are $3.80 underdogs in this one, and the Bulls are coming in as favourites, $1.42 compared to the Sharks, who are $2.90 underdogs for that matchup. So they feel the Bulls should be able to win it relatively comfortably, but that's the thing, it's the URC, anything can happen. And the Sharks side, even though they're missing a few of their big dogs, I think they're still going to come in with a bit of fight in them. I'm hoping to cover that game on the channel tomorrow night as well. I should mention it's going to be a weird one because halfway through, initially we were going to have another commentator come on the channel, but they can't actually watch the the URC in the country they're in. So I don't know what our plan's going to be, but we are going to be doing Tonga versus the Cook Islands. Took way too long for my brain to remember who they were playing. But yeah, we're going to be doing that game at 3:30 a.m. New Zealand time. But the game in the URC won't be finished by then. So we're going to do a bit of a juggle. Hopefully we will be able to find ourselves a replacement commentator for that little bit of time in that game. And come on, the Lions, keep that urgency, says Ruth. So they're going back for another penalty in favour of the Stormers. Bulls should take it. But the Sharks has high-profile players, says Doan there. And Sharks are just hyped up due to the amount of Springboks in the team, says Mo Gammett. It looks like Dan Duplessis, a little bit of a push and a shove. A couple of the Lions players there, but Marnie LeBoc now, this will be straight out in front of the posts. So it would be a relatively easy kick if they want it, but I don't know if they want it. They're still 12 points down. In fact, it's not going to be out in front of the post. They've found another mark, and that is going to be a bit further off towards the sideline. Lapsing the maul penalty. Now they will be able to go for another rolling maul opportunity here. Joseph Dweber needs to make sure that this throw is straight. They want a good attacking chance. So if you're the Lions, you would contest this. Or at least act like you're going to really make Joseph Dweber feel the pressure and then just join straight into the wrong. Act like you're going to jump just to get him going. They've gone to the front there. They didn't actually do anything there, the Lions, and I think it's going to cost them big time here because the rolling maul starts to march. Looking for the ball now. Joseph Dweber breaks off the back, starting to get close. 5 meters out from the line now. Paul the Vet goes up across to Eva Ruas, who keeps his footing, getting close to the line. He's going to be held up. And it will be now the goal line dropout for the Lions. Good goal line defense being shown there by the home side. Ruas very fired up, not happy that he wasn't able to score that try. Maria Slow just being told to relax by the referee. Yeah, but fired up at the moment. 44 minutes through this one. Currently, Lions with a 2-try deficit, you'd have to say, even though both sides have been able to score the 1 try each. Yeah, it looks like maybe they need to check on Ron Finter as well there just to make sure that he is going to be all right to continue this game. But currently less than an hour and a half away, ladies and gentlemen, till the matchup between Scotland and Australia. We are also covering that one on the channel. So if you are new, sure leave a like and subscribe. Get down to the halfway line. The Storm is taking it nicely now. Will be Clayton Muraikis. Charges at the line. Not quite able to go through. Finds the offload though. Needling for Shea, who also gave it off. Now Labok gets it to Ruas. Good attacking run from him, but stolen by the Lions. They've said it was clean. I thought he took it from his knee, though, but it is going to be play on just for now. That's actually the second one that the Lions have had that I thought that they had a penalty against them. Nohamba, he's not going to milk that one as the call. Nohamba's asking for the penalty. The referee's going to tell him to F off soon. That's to put it nicely. No one likes a halfback just trying to milk penalties all day. Now, Manuel Tachuka does nicely. Question, when are we talking about South Africa? Or when we are talking about South Africa, why are the cheaters if the rugby team can't spell but they are in Europe this year, but not in the URC? Well, are they in Europe? No, they are in the Curry Cup, although they have been playing up against the Irish A side a little bit more recently. I believe they've had a couple games, but there were rumours of them joining the Gallagher Premiership if the teams continue to get taken out of that comp, which could be an interesting idea. I think the Bulls will be the South Africa team to beat, to be top of the table. What do you guys think? Says 123 MS. It's a decent shout for the Bulls at the moment. They've got a strong lineup. I thought it would be the Stormers, to be honest, after the way that they started their season, but it seems like they've hit a little bit of a patch. How they've got all the talent in the world. It's just not really gelling while they're out on the field. They had that close game where they drew, and then they also had their loss last week up against the Ospreys, or was it Cardiff that they ended up losing to? One of the two, and the other side they ended up drawing with. Yeah. I wonder when these two sides are going to start unleashing their benches. I don't think we're too far away from seeing some replacement. Maybe forwards. Maybe what they decide to go with. Joseph Dweba, I don't know how long they'll keep him out on the field. No, but it's a penalty. Ref, pipe the F now and get on with it. Yes. Sebastian. But yeah, like at the end of the day, yes, you can be an annoying halfback, but if you're being an annoying halfback and you're deciding to try and take it to that next level of annoying halfback, it's very understandable why referees just get sick of them. That's why TJ Perenara was one of those players who I slowly started liking less and less, just because he would pretty much try and milk everything and just talk constantly to the referee. And it's like, yes, your job as the halfback is to talk, relatively, but got to do it at the right times. Paul the vet. See, Nohamba's still talking. Now he's given a clap as well for something. Now the Stormers, they will still have themselves another scrum reset. He's actually on the South Africa A side, I do see. For Nohamba, Evan Ruas, his nose is still bleeding. It's an interesting pattern on the lip of Evan Ruas there. What about Nick White? Another player who does just talk and talk and talk all the time. Is he in the starting lineup for the upcoming game? I know that Bernard Foley is at fly half. In fact, I think I've got the lineups up almost ready to go on the live stream. And they are in the Challenge Cup this year, says Richard. And I was like, let's go to Harlequin, says Nate. And I think two or all Welsh teams will leave URC replaced by South Africa teams, says 123 MS. Now, Paul the vet, the ball in nicely. That front row's gone up. Joseph Dweba now ripped backwards. It's going to be now play on. Paul the vet trying to shuffle, but he's going to be taken nicely down by PJ Borta. Now up to the halfway line, the Stormers get a little bit rattled at the moment, we'd have to say, throughout the first little while. And also we'll get there. Let's go Harlequins. It was my bad wrong game. Says Nate, how are the Harlequins doing anyway? Do let me know. Are they close, or are they well and truly behind in the game up against the London Irish, who were the king of the draws last year? And nicely taken by Andreas Kutzer. Gets the offload off now to Horn. On their own 22, Nohamba passes back across for this big lock. And also, now never a bad time to cheer on the Quins, says Sebastian there. Nohamba back into the pocket. Jordan Hendricks are going to get some good distance on that one. Just managed to find it outside of the 22 of the Stormers. Clayton Blommerkies going to be running it back now, looking for the 50-22. It's gone straight into the hands of Kutzia, who was back waiting for it. Now kicked downfield off his left. It's a big boot. In fact, a very good boot into the 22. Marnie Lebok telling Ngume Zulu that he's going for the up and under, and he will be chasing this one hard, waiting for the chance to go up for it. Doesn't quite get it clean and has knocked it on in the process. Will now be a Lions scrum. Nahamba, I think, said himself. I want to feel bad for him, but I just can't. It sounds really heartless, but he's annoyed me today. Hopefully he is all right, though. He is on the South Africa side. Yeah, I think he just landed hard on the heels. And to beat Leinster at the top of the table, Steelers 1, 2, 3 immense. And also we have got there Tommy Allen scored for the Quins. Here's Sebastian. Okay, now 49 minutes. So still 31 minutes left in this contest between the two sides. So plenty of time to get something right. But this looks like now the benches are starting to be used. Will be the number 19, Pieter Janssen van Vieren, who will be making his way onto the field. Now, well, actually not quite. They're going to have the scrum first. Let's go the Quins. Sees Nate there as well. Okay, it will be Nohamba who will be feeding this ball into the scrum. Position currently relatively close to come on you Quins. Says Sebastian, and also let's go Quins from Nate in there as well. And I hope so sooner the better, because playing Welsh team is doing the Irish teams no good. They need government help, and Wales just not good enough at club level. And Cheetahs will play in the European Championship, but not in any league. It was 1, 2, 3 MS. Now it's going to be the big push from the Lions, although the counter push from the Stormers almost led to a penalty going against the side with the feed. Jordan Hendricks goes for the kick of mine. Clayton Bloikes does nicely to take that one and gives it a big heave downfield, but it is going to be going out around the halfway line. Decent return. Who you got for the Bulls versus the Sharks? I will go the Bulls, but the Sharks have got a good chance. That's the thing with South African derbies. You can never quite know what way the match is going to go. But Janssen van Vieren now making his way out onto the field. That is for Alberts, who he has now replaced. Some decent men could come off the bench, though, in this game. JJ Kutzia, I think they're going to wait as long as possible before giving him the chance out there on the field in replacement of Joseph Weber. Also, Hudson-Berg off the bench could be dangerous. He has been out on the wing for the last couple of matches. Oh, speaking of what I just mentioned, JJ Kutzia making his way out onto the field. Vermaak and Sunday all actually going to be making their way out onto the field for the Stormers. Nabakaba, another player who I think could have good impact for the Stormers late. Xander Duplessis, also very handy player for the Lions. Evan Royce goes across the Labok. Now Dan Duplessis goes one more. Clayton Blomwick is off to Angelo Davids. Going to put it on the afterburners, but he's taken by Henko van Vick. It's like he's almost, has he stolen it clean? No, he hasn't. It will be the penalty in favour of the Stormers. Look like they want to try and take the quick dab. This is about to break down. Definitely if Evan Royce is anywhere near it, but luckily he's off to the side for this one. And also we have got the, hopefully NRL coaches signed them up. Says Nate in there as well for Louis. Yes, I apologise for the yawns, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have been up for around 16 hours, somewhere around there, I think. The moment is where we are sitting, so we are yawning just a little bit more than we would like to, but should be all right by the end of this match. And also, we've still got another match coming up later on, Scotland versus Australia, which will certainly wake us up. But JJ Kutzia now with an important line-out throw. Gets it straight. Marvin Ori takes nicely. This one's got a lot of momentum here for the Stormers. They're over the line, and the Stormers score themselves the try. Sunday's fired up. That's just making his way out onto the field, and I believe it's going to be the try for... Is it going to be the try? Junior Pokomela, I think they want to check this one. Okay, they're looking for double banking, which is not what you think it is. It does not mean that you have visited your bank twice in a short period of time. Instead, it means that they may have been going off the back. Possible obstruction, better way of putting it there. And also we've got their try, on-field try anyway. So there's Richard there. Okay. So they're trying to say that there's a chance that they were pretty much closing it off so that the Lions weren't able to get involved in it. Queen's conceded again, FFS. See Sebastian there. Because that game started at 3 a.m., Sebastian. So I guess late in the game, they're normally pretty handy, the Harlequins, as we know. Right. Did they get this one wrong for the Stormers? They're going to check this one multiple times by the looks of it. Okay, I'm not sure how they're going to rule this one. I've just watched it a couple times. I don't know the line out rolling maul rule well enough to know if Vermaak is in trouble. In fact, no, actually, I think I do know that rule. And that is the fact that Vermaak is actually in front of the locks, which means it's going to be a no try because he cannot actually be there. It's got to be a lock at the front of your rolling maul rather than a prop. So that's going to be obstruction against the Stormers. It's going to be no try. Cancelling the try, going back for the initial penalty that they already had. The no try penalty in favour of the Lions, Ernest van Rennen. Okay, he was asking for the try to still be given, but referee didn't see it that way. Now Jordan Hendrickson will be able to kick this one downfield towards the touchline. Get the Lions out of their own territory if he can get enough of a boot on this one. He's pretty happy with it. You know they're happy with a kick when you see that little heel tap. You know, when you tap it on the ground and you go, yep, got hold of that one. The Sharks will win. They have something to prove. Bulls are getting complacent. So here's 1, 2, 3 MS. It's going to be the line out throw, though, for the Lions. It's going to be, I believe, Jaco Vasachi has also made his way onto the field. Looks like a bit of an eye injury. One of the Stormers players, I want to say that that was possibly the try scorer, Junior Pokamela. Well, the almost try scorer. And Rugby God smiling on the Lions today, says Sebastian. They've had a little bit of luck, haven't they, throughout this contest, but they've also created their own luck throughout it as well. Paul the Vet now manages to keep it on the side of the Stormers with 27 minutes left in this game. Bit of a counter right there from the Lions. Beautifully played. And now it looks like it is going to be available for them now. Nohamba fires it back to Jordan Hendricks, so it looks like he wanted to have a run himself, and he will do just that, almost going through, but Diamani able to get him early. 40 metres out from their own line here, the Lions, they won't be kicking this one as of yet. They may go for a few more phases just to try and break through. Now back into the pocket. Andreas Kutsia does kick it downfield into the 22, nicely taken now at the back. Lomachis receives it in the midfield. Great low tackle made by Horn, the textbook tackle. They always say you're going to try and tie them up around the bootlaces. That's exactly what he's done. Great run from JJ Courts, and now Mani Labok gives it off to Evan Ruas. Ball on the outside. Off to Lillian Zas. It seems like the Stormers found themselves a bit of a second wind here ever since having that try disallowed. It's going to be JJ Courts. A brilliant run forward from him. It's going to be another advantage as well in favour of the Stormers. They're kicking behind, waiting for the favourable bounce, which it is. And Sasha Ngumezulu has been able to score the try for the Stormers. This one will not be cancelled out. It was a red card for the London Irish, says Nate, so that's probably the last thing they wanted. And the game Rugby League World update, Rugby League World Cup update, 94 points to 4 in favour of England. Yeah, bit too one-sided for my liking, that game. But England have certainly shown that they can score a lot of points. 94, that's the highest we've seen so far, isn't it, throughout a game? Is the match over yet, or have they still got more time yet? Do let me know. And also come on the Lions. There's Nate at Oosh. There's Nate. And there as well. But Sasha Zulu does manage to score it. The conversion should be nice and easy for them as well. And that will then make the score a little bit closer. 15 points for the Stormers. The kick, it would make it 17, but Mani Labok needs to make sure that he does get this one first. And he has done just that. And that will make the score now 17 points to 22. Going down to the wire by the looks of it between these two sides. Crowd certainly getting behind the Stormers. It was just a rough bounce of the ball, unfortunately, for believe it was Pieter Janssen van Veeren. It just wasn't going to sit up for him the way that he needed it to. Slow walk back up to halfway for the Lions. I assume it's because we're almost at the drinks break. Okay, yep. Official water break is going to be taken here, so it does mean we're going to be waiting a little bit longer till we see the action once again. But Alistair Vermaak, we're just showing him he's already at that little moment where he got the line out wrong, did join it from the wrong side. Okay, I'll bring this up last night. England was saying English rugby clubs won't let a person run their league without clubs interfering. Brilliant try, Stormers, but should not let bounce, says Richard. And also, it's over gracefully for the Greeks, says Sebastian. And also, Riquas and the Pumas join the Premiership for this year. I have games played as tests, not counting towards, says 123 MS. I know that that's one of the rumours we've heard a little bit of. I don't know whether or not it is actually going to be taking place as of yet. And bunch on, let's go to the try for the Quins, says Nate. So how far behind were the Quins in their game? Out of curiosity, because they're the comeback kings of the Premiership, I'd say. I'm going to have a quick look and see how it is sitting for them in that contest. While we have got the official water break, that is, we've got a little bit of time to kill before the two sides do get back underway. And Alex Donbrandt, let's go, says Sebastian. And there as well. So currently it is Harlequins 7, London Irish 21, but I assume that would become a little bit more in favour of the Quins here now. And one try boss, says Nate. In there as well. Yeah, the Harlequins, they'll move up to 14. The London Irish, how much time's left in that game? Do let me know. I always find it funny with the Harlequins because of how much of an underdog they can find themselves being. And then they just come back. Currently, the Harlequins are $1.42 favourites over the London Irish, who are paying $3, even though the London Irish have got themselves a lead currently. But I assume that's because they have got that red card. That does make it a little bit harder. Come back and also still 25 minutes left, says Sebastian. And there's also, it's going to be a weird one. I said that the Stormers are also $3 underdogs in this contest with themselves only sitting the 5 points down. There's certainly a side with some potential to be able to go on and get themselves a win here. They do get it right, although the Lions currently in possession after 56 minutes through this contest. Going to be a scrum feed now for the Stormers, though, so they have been able to win that one quite nicely. Looks like more subs being made for both of these teams. So both sides really unleashing their benches. The Bombs have had home crowd advantage too. The audience are really had a good time for sure. Worth the ticket purchased, says Ed. And also, Irish are bad now, says Nate. And also the UK government are now involved trying to get clubs to give money out more evenly, says Rich. And come on, the boys, fight for your spot, take over and don't look back. Don't let the Lions take this game. Go the Stormers, says Megan. Okay, so the sub has been made. Angelo Davids, he is going off the field. That is going to be for Hudson Berg, who is now out there. And also Herschel Yankees looks like he's not too far off from getting to make his way onto the park as well. Just a little bit of an injury here for Nathaniel. We'll have to strap up that wrist, make sure that he is able to continue this contest. But Hudson Berg, I have seen this man in the starting lineup a few times. We don't normally see him come off the bench. And maybe will be a good opportunity to see what he can do late in the game when the opposition are tiring and they are starting to slow down. That could be the time that Hudson Berg is his most dangerous. The win predictor at the moment, though, 70% in favour of the Lions, 25% in favour of the Stormers, and 5% in favour of the draw for the win prediction. I believe if it was me, I'd have the Stormers just a little bit closer, definitely because they've now got the scrum feed. And if they score one try, they are back well and truly into this contest. Unlike the Quins and London Irish game, they don't have to worry about that red card. That it is on the Premiership rugby side of things. Those were big yawns. So peckish as their time for a snack between the streams. There certainly is, Sebastian, although it depends, I guess, on what you are cooking for yourself. Currently, it is sitting 4:24 a.m. So the next stream starts in 55 minutes, but the match starts in 65 minutes. So you will have a little bit longer in between the Scotland and Australia game and the end of this one. This game has dragged on a lot longer than they would have liked, though, I would think. Like, this is almost going to be a 2-hour fixture when it should have only been around an hour, 40 hour, 50-ish. Levesque now about to put the ball, and it's going to be the free kick, and it's going to be quickly taken by the Stormers. Now attacking on the wing. Hudsonberg might get this ball relatively early. They've gone for the grabber in behind. He's on it. Hudsonberg takes it beautifully 5 meters out from the line. The Lions just trying to pretty much smother it in the breakdown to try and stop it. Evan Ruas now getting close. Now Paul Devet goes back across again. Marnie Lebok, beautiful ball there. Out in front. It doesn't sit up for JJ Kusa. It was a bounce pass. You just got to find his hands there. 10 minutes, no more. Says Sebastian. So, yeah, you will be completely fine with the gap in between. And Hamish, you're right. 2 more tries. Stormers 5 points. Here's Richard and also Liam Gleeson is set to debut, replacing Pete Samu, who has a back injury. Looking forward for that young gun. I hope Samu's injury won't be serious. So here's Ed. But yeah, that Australia-Scotland game, it's an intriguing one. I feel like both of the games that we've had for today, the All Blacks versus Japan and also Scotland versus Australia at international level, they're intriguing because they're hard to predict. And that's a good thing. I like the unpredictability of some of these international games coming up. And I don't know. Open line dropped. Ball as well says, or Richard and England Lions got this. Can't see why not. Amount of NRL players in the England squad. Dominic Young. Can't wait. Wait for Kai Pierce-Paul, says Nate there. Lions about to feed this ball in 10 meters out from their own line. It's a big push. Okay, the referee is going to have another scrum reset. Like they're saying on the commentary, it's been chaos at scrum time. They haven't really been able to get either side with any momentum. Just pretty much been everyone flopping down as soon as they have contact. But Paul Devet now going to be replaced by Herschel Young. He's a decent player to have coming on the field for the final 20 or so minutes of an important URC fixture. The way that the table sits, the Lions, they are in 9th, but if they get themselves a win here, they have the potential of going all the way up to about 4th place. It's really massive for them, although it depends on whether or not the Stormers are within the 7. Will slightly change things for the Lions, but it is going to be almost put in by Moni Vandenberg. Another man who has been replaced, come on the Stormers, says Yeri there. Fitting nicely. Now going to be kind of available. It's a weird scrum. That is pretty much what we have summarised the scrum as throughout the whole match. Marius Lowe, nice carry forward, currently sitting on the 10 metres out from their own line, and it looks like might be a chance that we do see Moni Vandenberg firing it back. No, instead he does go for the kick himself. Has managed to find touch. A very good kick downfield from him. 20 minutes left in this fixture. We are 3/4 of the way through, ladies and gentlemen, in this one. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have got plenty more of the URC coming tomorrow night. We are hoping to do the game between the Sharks and the Bulls. And also in the rugby league side of things, we have got Tonga versus the Cook Islands and also Samoa versus England with the other match that we are going to be covering on the channel. And damn close, says Nathan there. Yeah, both of these sides just seem to be right on the verge of getting themselves some more points on the board. JJ Kutzer to throw this ball, and we'll be hoping that it's straight enough. It's a nice straight line out. Unfortunately, too straight, though, and the Lions have been able to steal it with PJ Aborta also able to get his hands on the ball. Or was that Yako Fasahi? It might have been Fasahi. And what stands out the most in the South African rugby teams in terms of the rugby style, says Ed. I mean, the obvious one is the kicking, I guess you could say, but, you know, it's always the case of when it gets out to the wingers, it's dangerous, but until it gets out to those wingers, it can be quite a kicking battle between them. That's a great kick. Marnie Lebok has to clean it up, gives it off to Clayton Blomake's infield. Almost a bit too much pressure put on him by Horn. He gets back up to his feet. He's taken it outside of his 22, so now cannot find the touchline on the 4. I may go prime video build-up. Starting now goes Scotland, see you all in the first half. Can't have both on at the same time because prime video is an app, says Richard. So, yeah, hopefully you do enjoy the build-up. Tonga versus Cookies today or tomorrow, says Nazi Williams. So it is going to be tomorrow at, I believe it's 3:30 p.m. No, sorry, 3:30 a.m. I should say. Now Stormers having to clean that ball up only a couple meters out from the line. Kutsia with a brilliant charge down. And now the counter ruck. This is going to be dangerous. The Lions, though, they've lost their footing, but they've won the penalty in the process. Now, Morty van den Berg wants to get it to Marakazi. Scrum half Jetty Head says, and it was Sebastian there as well. And also Sweet says Nazi Williams. Yeah, we will be covering that one on the channel. Also, alongside that, we will have the matchup taking place between Samoa and France, like I mentioned. And we have actually got a video coming out tomorrow, or today it is, at 7 p.m. New Zealand time tonight. We are going to be having our video come out with me and George playing along with the matchup. It will be France versus Samoa on Rugby League Live 4. It's a very fun video to film. Hopefully you guys also do enjoy it, but it is going to be a 5-meter line out now. In fact, no, sorry, they're taking the quick tap and just tapping it back across the middle to Shuka. Great defense, though, from the Stormers. Morne van den Berg goes back across. Going to be Borta now. Stormers defense, it can be relatively strong when they get it right. And at the moment, it does seem like it's going all right for them. They've been able to force them back about 5 meters or so since when they took the quick tap. And now nice work around the side, the pick and go. Looking very good. Lions going off to the side, reaching out, almost able to get over the line was Pieter Janssen van Veeren. Now Morne van den Berg around the side of the breakdown. 2 meters out from the line. Emmanuel Tichuka goes down. Now around the side, they were offside is the call there. That looks like he's flattened out, but it took him a little while to get it down on the line. So the sweet says Nazi Williams. And that is going to be now. Come back for the initial penalty in favour of the Lions. I think strategically you take the 3 points here, get yourself 8 points in the lead, and then it builds just a little bit more of a wall for yourselves rather than just being within the 7. My eyelid on this side is extremely droopy. I feel like it's from looking up at that big light that's on this near side. May have a bit of a reshuffle before the Scotland versus Australia game. Emmanuel Tichuka gets close once again. Great work from Nabakaba, though. And he got over the ball, won the turnover for his side. With 16 minutes left on the clock, that is a very good time to be getting yourself the penalty for 5 minutes out. There you go. Another big yawn, but Mani Labok will be kicking this one now into touch. Out very nicely from about 35 meters out from the line. Now the Stormers are going to have themselves the ball, and they will try and get this line out right. Jadia Kutse so far, his last line out didn't go to plan. He got a little bit wonkier than he would have been anticipating, which is not what he will be wanting for this game. And it does make it tough because when you throw it straight, it gets turned over. When you throw it wonky, you get pulled up for having a wonky throw. So it's a tricky one for them. It looks like that's gone all right for them this time, though. Now, Ngome Zulu kicks it in behind. Nicely taken by Kutsia just on his own 22 now. Kicks it downfield. Let's get into the 22 of the Stormers. Running it forward now will be Hudson-Berg. Nicely taken there in behind from the Lions. Playing a bit of force back at the moment. That kick's going to go out on the full. Mistake made by, I believe that time, it was a Lombard who got that one slightly wrong. Giovanni Lombard. Is not what he would have been after. Also, when the opposition player decided to hide behind the goalpost, Greece fullback versus Samoa on Rugby League Live 4, says Nate. And here we have a few more random moments that are coming up in the next video for that one. Pretty much, I don't want to spoil it, but it's an interesting game, to say the least. And also, I think we were both slightly sleep deprived, so it meant for weird commentary, which is something you guys often normally enjoy as well. The line out throw, it's going to be in favour of the Stormers. That is due to the kick going out on the full from Giovanni Lombard. Now the rolling maul starts. Looks like the Lions, though, they've got the ball. It's going to be the scrum feed now. The Stormers couldn't get it out early enough. It's George editing the video. It was myself who did edit it. I edited it in between the All Blacks game and this live stream. So pretty much rather than sleeping like I should have, probably why my eyes look so exhausted, is because I was staring at those little audio bars, trying to make sure they're all nicely in sync. Pretty much easiest way to tell if it was myself or George editing a video is the audio. If you hear the audio sounding like it is very up and down and extremely loud, George has edited it, just because he doesn't, and he said this as well, he doesn't want to spend time changing the volume of it because it would just be extra effort. Whereas for me, normally I try and have it all around the same level, so it takes a lot longer. And also I censor the swear words, so that normally takes a bit longer. Just notice AB's only had the 4 test matches and the Wallabies have 5. Any idea the next year test matches? Says Ed, I'm not too sure. I know that last year the All Blacks had their 5, so maybe it's kind of a rotational thing. How you do end up with some sides getting the 5, which would mean South Africa would have 5 maybe next year if that is the way that the pattern goes. As I said, a grafter, no wonder the way Matty Tika couldn't resist it, says Sebastian there. Well, going back, Mono van den Berg gives it off to Andreas Kutzer. One is going into touch, although I should mention that she isn't actually, well, she doesn't live in Waimate at the moment. She's actually 13 minutes away. So I have been doing a little bit of driving recently on random nights of the week. I'll say, hey, says Nathan, and there as well. But yeah, I think you guys will enjoy the upcoming video. I think there's enough random stuff that happens in it and enough random banter that it will pretty much be like watching an old school rugby challenge video that we've had on the channel. In the past, Lebok with the forward pass to Dan Duplessis, but it doesn't seem like they want to call it its forward. So it will be play on just for now for the Stormers, and it's a nice run forward from Hudsonberg. 68 minutes through in this game, and still only the 5 points is the difference. Beautiful offload there from Evan Ruiz. It's going to be Ben Jason Dixon now. Another run. Willie Engelbrecht, the big Pumas representative. Now, I will mention, I do hope they go back and have a look, see whether or not that was a forward pass from Mani Lebok, because for me, it was forward by about half a metre. So she's not a local, which means there's an air of mystery about her. Good, Sebastian. And then nice work from Mani Lebok. Driven backwards. Once again, they're now off to the right-hand side. Clayton Blommake's going to score the try. They are not going to go back to check that forward pass. And because of it, it does mean now that the Stormers will be back to 22-22 random nights of the week. My man says Nuzzy Williams in there as well. So, yeah, I think last week I ended up going up on Wednesday night and Thursday night. I think were the 2 nights. Ended up having dinner with her parents, which didn't go too badly overall. He found the line, celebrates Clayton Blommake's. I guess that forward pass did not happen. Maybe it was just my eyes deceiving me, but it did look forward by quite a margin, if I'm being honest. But Clayton Blommake's, he was certainly fired up for that one. Yeah, it's gone straight down the middle of the park, or down the middle of the post, I should say. 24 points to 22. Let's go. Says Nate. And there as well. He knew straight away that he was through the gap. He was very smiley when he was scoring it. Clayton Blommake's. See how much it meant to him. Did he had those like skins that actually had his name on them, which is quite impressive. And Cape Town takes the lead, says Sebastian there as well. But now it's going to be kicked off from Giovanni Lompard. Lions, they could get themselves a 3-point here, and that would get them back in the lead. But for now, they are behind by 2. This match slowly coming to a close. Still 10 minutes left of the contest. The next game that we are covering, we will be starting at 5:20 a.m. That is going to be the game between Scotland and Australia. It's going to be an epic one, and we will be covering that one on the channel as well. That is the last live stream of the night that we have got. And then tomorrow, we've got our Halloween costume. Going to be rearing to go for some more action. It is going to be now kicked in behind Mani Lebok. Kicks it into touch there. Nicely done by Mani, but he didn't get as many meters on it as I think he wanted to. That one. About 30 meters out. And the Lions, they are going to have themselves the line out throw. I believe it is now Yako Fasaki. Yes, it is. Who will be taking this line out. Good bullet throw to the back there. It's going to be nicely, no, it wasn't nicely cleaned up. In fact, I think it may have hit a boot and float forward. Now Lillian Zus almost found that offload he was after, but then just a little mistake. Now on the ground, it's a knock on from Jaja Kutzer. And it is going to be a scrum feed now for the Lions. And come on, guys, bring that storm. We can do it, says Megan. And now I'm actually going to have a quick look and see what the odds are saying for this game now. To put away the storm, you literally, or to put the stormers away, you literally put them away, or else they'll come back and have to admit South African teams in Super Rugby. They really challenge the comp. Says Ed Vogel. And yeah, I guess the question is, for how long is it going to be New Zealand and Australian squads in Super Rugby? We have seen, I guess, some rumours going around that Australia may be departing from the Super Rugby format. Well, they might keep the Super Rugby format, but just not with New Zealand. So currently now the Lions are $3 underdogs. So the Stormers were in the first half for a majority of it, but now the Lions have found themselves going back up. Let's go. The Lions, says Dead Tune. Lions going to be feeding this ball in. I've got the position here. That was a big push from the Stormers. They get themselves the scrum penalty, and that is a massive one to have as well. Emmanuel Tachuka, you can see he wasn't too happy with the referee for giving that one, but he's now going to make it just a little bit easier for the Stormers to get down the field, try and create a bit more of an opportunity for themselves. They've got 3 tries, so the thing is, they're only 1 try away from a bonus point win here if they can get one more. Certainly give them confidence going forward. Now it's kicked downfield. What did I say in my score prediction? Did I say the Stormers by 5, I think I went with. So I don't think I'm quite going to get that one right. That's for this game. Slipping down a little bit in the chair. The chairs still aren't the comfiest things I've ever had in my life, but I am looking at options. It's pretty much you got to try and find a chair that's comfy, but not that comfy that you want to fall asleep on it. If the Aussies League Super Rugby is knackered, might as well change the name to Aotearoa again, says Sebastian. Yeah, I believe Australia, they're going to have the backing of the Western Force billionaire, I believe he is, or millionaire anyway. He's got a lot of money, and he was willing to back the whole competition just by himself if it meant that the Australian sides did get to play against each other. But that's the thing. I feel like it will cost Australia more than it will cost New Zealand. That was a high tackle. It's going to be now the advantage in favour of the Stormers, and that will be their penalty. They could take on the 3 and get a 5-point lead here, but they may also consider trying to go for the corner and get that final try that they need for the bonus point. But it was Henko van Vyk who tackled just a little bit too high there on Ivan Ruas. My wallet in my pocket, I will put that in a different place. Put it on there so I don't forget it. Marnie Lebok kicking this one for the corner now. Stormers with plenty of time left on the clock. Very quick, Prime Video just announced Finn Russell might be out of the November or out for November. A row with the manager meeting midweek between the two, but for now, on the 32 for the 4 tests, says Richard. So yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing how they go without Finn Russell, and I guess who they decide to go with as the replacement. I think for this game it's Kinghorn, if I'm not wrong. Maybe is it Kinghorn? And talking about high tackles, thoughts on Brady's red card earlier. I'm very curious to know how they rule it in terms of whether he gets a suspension. Because if he gets a 3-match suspension, he's actually going to be out for the rest of the November internationals, which would be a big shame for Brady. Ratella gets the rolling maul try, and it's another cover, is it? Oh, no, he's been taken down by his teammate. He is fired up at the moment, that is for sure. And yes, says Richard, and also I agree the Aussies can only improve by playing the Kiwi sides. And also they lose not having competition like the Kiwi team, says Nancy Williams. And when your girl's sleeping, sweet dreams about her man. And the man busy smashing out the hours at work, same time working and yawning, says Nate in there as well. But yeah, it should be an interesting Halloween party. I will know no one there other than her and maybe one other person if I'm lucky. So pretty much I'm going to be that guy who stands in the corner and just sits there going, so the weather. You know, it's been a bit weird, hasn't it? It's been raining, then it's not raining. And then that will just be me talking to probably a Halloween decoration, maybe a skeleton. having a bit of a chat with one of those. 76 minutes through this game, though, and the Stormers have now got themselves a bonus point on the board. So no matter what, they are leading this game, I would say, with 2 points, because they will be within 7 if the Lions somehow get themselves the comeback. But with only 4 minutes left, it does seem like the Stormers may just have that little bit of an edge over their South African counterparts. Manny Lebok, though, still taking his time with this kick, wants to make sure that it goes over all good. You'll have your costume on and rage it up, says Nuzzy Williams. Yeah, some of you guys will remember I went as Harry Potter for our Halloween little party thing that we did on the channel. This is going to also be my Harry Potter costume. Except if I have like bloodshot eyes, it will be that I'm Harry Potter on crack. Probably the best way of describing it. Manny Lebok, though, he does get that kick over, and now it's going to make the score 31 points to 22 in favour of the Stormers. So that has to almost be the win. Stormers fans certainly sticking it to the Lions at the moment, I did see. And imagine if you walk into the room and people get starstruck over the streaming legend of Vic Parrish. That would be really weird. We are still yet to get recognised. They are just showing the celebration from Namakaba when he was able to get at the party. I mean, says Sebastian. Yeah, I always joke with George, because when we're out in public, because no one's really seen me that much over the last couple of years, like just because I've pretty much been in here streaming, like anytime someone recognizes me like as me, I always go to George, oh yeah, I think they were a fan of the Kiwi Lads, and he just pretty much tells me to shut up, although he says it in a more aggressive tone, I guess you could say, and more aggressive wording. And Jamie Ritchie, Captain Scotland today, and told you the Storm comes through on the second half, says Mo Gammon, and also, yeah, bro, you might be the most famous of the year, says Nuzzy Williams, and now that's my boys fighting, says Megan. And that one as well. But yeah, it's weird, because I'm interested to know what the reaction is when someone, if anyone asks, are they like, what do you do? And I'll say, I do YouTube. Because YouTube's still a weird one, because we're from such a small town, no one really does it. It's more the case of it's just like those myths and legends of overseas people doing it. Currently now only 1 minute and a half left on the clock here. The Lions have got themselves the feed, so they need to try pretty much instantly if they want a chance of still being able to win this game. And at minimum, they want to get themselves the bonus point for being within 7. But Morne Vandenberg now goes off to Marius Lowe with a nice carry. Visual Yankees trying to fight for the ball. Emmanuel Jishuka with a nice run. Tackled by Evan Ruiz. Now going off to the short side. Some quick hands here down the wing. I believe that was Sangweni who didn't pass it off. Now only 1 minute left on the clock. Vandenberg goes back. Interception. Great hands. No, it's going to be the penalty for offside. And the Lions, they take it quickly. It's actually going to be the run from Verasaki. Now gives it off to Morne Vandenberg. Goes for the chip, and behind it's going to be placed. And that will become the goal line dropout now for the Stormers. They will not be in any hurry to take this kick. I'll just wait as long as physically possible. So we're going to have about a 30-minute break, ladies and gentlemen, in between the end of this live stream and the start of Scotland versus Australia. But it's going to be an entertaining game just around the corner. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as we have got plenty more live streams coming up in the near future, including the Rugby League World Cup. We're going to be covering some of that tomorrow as well. And we're also going to do it from, or I guess, wearing a Halloween costume. That doesn't look good. Oh, it's an ice pack. I thought it was a shoulder well and truly out of position, but it's just the ice pack. It says with the commentary, Hamish, I'll be back for the Scottish game after fooding some foodie food, says Sebastian. And when we get onto that Scottish live stream, Sebastian, I would like to know what you had to eat, because it normally just makes me jealous. But I do enjoy finding out what people are having for their snacks in between the rugby. Manny Lebok, though, with 4 seconds left, using up a little bit more time. And now it's going to be kicking it down the middle of the park. Now the Lions, they want the bonus point. They need some form of points on the board here. Marius Lowe. In fact, no, sorry, it's going to be Xander Duplessis. Nice carry forward. Stormers don't want to give away a penalty here, though. They want to try and cancel out the chance of a bonus point. Now, Morne Vandenberg goes back across. That's a rough forward pass, I thought, but Sangweni has been able to receive it and now will drive himself forward just a little bit further. They're sitting about 25 to 30 metres out now for the Lions. Back across the middle of the field, trying to get over the ball for the Stormers, is it? Yes, it's the penalty awarded for the Stormers. Nabakaba has been able to get over the ball, and that is going to be the end of the game now. The Stormers can tap this one, kick it into touch, and they will be able to accept a bonus point victory here. And Money in the Box just asking for his teammates to get out of the way. He's going to go into touch there, and that will be the end of the match. 31 points to 22, the win for the away side, the Stormers. And two goods, the Stormers, says Nate. And there as well, yeah, they have done very well for themselves, getting the victory. And yeah, now we see how the rest of the URC round will be going. We know that Ulster are playing Munster. We know the Sharks have got the Bulls in their next fixture, but the next one we are covering on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, will be at 5:20 a.m., and that will be Scotland taking on Australia. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.